What is up, guys? Basic Battles here today, and I just got done watching another UFC fight night. Big one this time. It was a featherweight title eliminator versus Lerone Murphy and Movsar Evloev. I don't know why I put the verses before I announced their names. That is odd. Sorry. But Movsar Evloev won a controversial decision. Many thinking it should have been a draw or a win for Lerone Murphy. I personally thought it was a clear draw, 47-47. First 2 rounds to Lerone, last 3 rounds to Movsar. Take a point from Movsar, 47-47. Seems pretty easy to me. Judges do not agree at all. 2 48-46s, which means 2 judges had it 4-1 for Movsar, and 1 judge had it 47-47. Did not agree with that. But Volkanovski has his next title challenger, and isn't that just interesting? Now, the title of this video, man, all about Movsar Evloev. You know, that man is a lightning rod for these weird, funky things, you know. Obviously, just based off his fighting career, not even outside, which obviously some people are very, displeased with, some of his statements outside the octagon, but that's not what I'm here to talk about, Movsar Evloev, his best win to date is arguably this one, which, like I said, I don't think he really won that fight, and Diego Lopez, which he beat on less than a week's notice. I think it was less than a week's. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Now, while that win has aged well, it does have the caveat of being, on less than a week's notice. Diego's first fight in the UFC after his loss on Contender Series to Joe Anderson Brito. Obviously, he went on a tear since then, and then lost 2 fights to Volkanovski. So that win did age well for Movsar, but it wasn't really Diego's bet, so a lot of people dismiss it. His fight against Arnold Allen, which started the grounded knees controversy that's been going on for quite a while, and got the rule taken away in the rules. You can have your hand on the mat now, which you couldn't do before that fight, and it just started a whole bunch of hoopla about that. And honestly, some people didn't even think he won that fight because they stopped it before anything Arnold could follow up with the knees or anything. So some people thought he lost that fight regardless of the knees. It was, it's the same thing with his fight against Aljamain Sterling. A lot of people thought Aljamain Sterling did enough to win that fight. Now, me personally, watching those fights, it's been quite a while since I watched Aljo. I don't think I've watched that fight since 297, but I did rewatch the Aljo Movsar fight a couple of times. It is very high level. It is a solid fight, and I did think Movsar squeaked it out. But like I said, he just these controversial decisions just follow him. These the illegal knee stuff. This should have been a draw. It's just he does not look like he's 20-0. He's beaten Allen, Sterling, Diego, and Murphy. That is a great resume, but none of them come without, caveats. None of them come without, but this, he just doesn't look like this monster that he should look like, with that record and that resume. And he doesn't fight that much, He does not fight that much. He fights once a year, and it is very early in the year. So hopefully, based off what Volk wants, based off what he wants, hopefully he can get a title shot later this year, and he can get a second fight this year. First time he'll have 2 fights in a year in half a decade, which is crazy. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Movsar's shaky streak. We'll see what's next for Lerone Murphy. He still should be fighting top of the top in the division. Maybe he'll fight the winner of Diego and Steve Garcia. Maybe he'll fight a John Silva next. We're gonna have to see. Tell me your thoughts on the fight in the comments. Tell me your thoughts on Volk versus Movsar. Go Volk, obviously. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.